Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes NBC hosts a GOP debate and its right-wing misinformation. The untold story of a brief FBI inquiry into Biden's golf club membership. Authorities search for January 6 attack suspect who fled as FBI approached. Democrats are giddy from this week's electoral sweep. Gary Winnick, who won and lost with Global Crossing, dies at 76. NBC hosts a GOP debate and its right-wing misinformation. Washington Post. Politico's Philip Bump has criticized NBC News for hosting Wednesday's Republican presidential debate, stating that the network was a conduit for misinformation. Bump argues that any political debate will involve some falsehoods, but given the far-right electorate's commitment to supporting Donald Trump, the debate was almost certainly going to amplify misinformation. NBC's position was not helped by its partners, such as Salem Radio and Rumble, which have been responsible for misinformation in the past and have lax content guidelines, respectively. Bump goes on to give examples of the misinformation that was spread during the debate, such as the idea that the southern border is porous and allows terrorists and drugs into the country, despite data showing that drug smuggling mostly occurs at existing border checkpoints and that there have been no confirmed cases of terrorists infiltrating the U.S. from Mexico. Bump concludes that NBC's role in the debate was inevitable given the current political and media climate, in which candidates are willing to make indefensible claims that play well with their voting base and fact-checking is limited. The untold story of a brief FBI inquiry into Biden's golf club membership. Washington Post. A previously unreported FBI investigation into President Joe Biden focused on whether he had received a monetary benefit by becoming a member of the Fieldstone Golf Club in 2001. The club was founded by a member of the wealthy DuPont family, which Biden had deep connections to. The investigation lasted for around 1 month in 2007 and was ultimately closed by the Department of Justice without any surfacing allegations of wrongdoing by Biden or the club's founder, Lisa Dean Mosley, who died in 2016. Fieldstone records show that Biden has visited the club at least 22 times since becoming president, including for a round of golf and dinner in August. Authorities search for January 6 attack suspect who fled as FBI approached. Associated Press. Authorities in New Jersey are searching for a suspect in the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol who fled as FBI agents approached his home. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies are looking for Gregory Yetman, who is wanted in connection with the attack. It is not yet clear what charges he faces. Yetman, a former military police sergeant in the New Jersey National Guard, was interviewed by the FBI earlier this year and is suspected of firing pepper spray at protesters and police officers during the riot. Over 1,200 people have been charged with Capitol riot-related federal crimes, with over 800 pleading guilty or being convicted and more than 700 sentenced. Democrats are giddy from this week's electoral sweep. Economist. The results of America's off-year elections suggest that the Republican platform of severe restrictions on abortion is deeply unpopular, even when Republicans attempt to moderate. Democrats won on friendly turf and in enemy territory, with Andy Beshear winning re-election in Kentucky and Glenn Youngkin losing control of the lower chamber of the state legislature in Virginia. The results also indicate that culture war issues did not electrify voters this year and that the unpopularity of President Joe Biden did not prove to be a liability for Democrats. Gary Winnick, who won and lost with Global Crossing, dies at 76. New York Times. Gary Winnick, the founder of telecommunications company Global Crossing, died at his estate in Los Angeles on Saturday at the age of 76. Winnick founded Global Crossing in 1997, with the goal of building the world's first privately financed global fiber optic network. The company expanded rapidly but ultimately filed for bankruptcy in 2002, having amassed $12.4 billion in debt. In 2005, the Securities and Exchange Commission investigated Global Crossing's swaps of network capacity with other companies to fill gaps in its fiber optic coverage. The case ended in a settlement, with 3 Global Crossing executives being fined but Winnick escaping without penalty. There are 2 dueling GOP primaries. One barely matters. Washington Post. The dueling Republican primaries. There are 2 Republican presidential primaries underway right now. In one of them, former President Donald Trump is running as an incumbent. He is the clear frontrunner and, while he's making the occasional campaign trip, he is mostly consumed by dealing with the crises of the day, which for him are his legal challenges. In the other, a handful of candidates doing the normal things demanded of presidential candidates, traveling to Iowa, New Hampshire and sometimes South Carolina and debating, as they did Wednesday night in Miami when they sparred over TikTok, Israel, Ukraine and Social Security. It was a substantive debate. Nikki Haley, who has been rising in the polls, gave a commanding performance, highlighting her experience as Trump's ambassador to the United Nations and relaying a clear vision on China, the war in Ukraine and the war in Gaza. A lower polling candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, attempted to make waves, mostly by being offensive. He criticized Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis while not naming them for wearing 3-inch heels. At one point, a fed-up Haley called Ramaswamy scum after he criticized Haley for her daughter's use of TikTok. Here are 96 luxurious presents you'll want to give and get. Bloomberg Business Week has released its holiday gift guide, featuring a range of items that engage the senses. The guide includes a sparkling kaleidoscope for children, a geometric necklace with colorful gems, sunglasses made from recycled bioacetate, a hybrid camera that prints photos on demand, an elegant watch with a hypnotic tourbillon, and a brooch with a diamond-set bird perched on a tanzanite. The guide also includes noise-canceling headphones, a silk scarf with musical motifs, champagne glasses, and a Maserati MC-12 car. The strategic calculations of Israel's enemies. Spiegel. The recent conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza has brought the Middle East to the brink of war. But what are the real intentions of Iran and its proxies, and what role does Washington play in the dynamics of the region? Iran, which supports Hamas and other militant groups, has refrained from escalating the conflict to a full-scale war with Israel. Ali Al-Fona, an Iranian-American expert, suggests that Iran sees Hamas as expendable and Hezbollah as a valuable asset against Israel. Hezbollah's extensive rocket arsenal is a key factor in protecting Iran from an Israeli attack on its nuclear facilities. Tehran is keen to avoid a confrontation with Israel's nuclear-armed submarines and the U.S. fleet. The animosity between Iran and Israel is very different from that with Arab states. Iran has never been directly involved in a war with Israel, and until 1979, the two countries even cooperated in intelligence sharing. For the Iranian regime, the animosity toward Israel is primarily a tool for arousing religious fervor among its followers. Furthermore, Iran's rivalry with the Sunni Arab world has played a decisive role in shaping its alliances and interventions in the region. In recent years, Iran has supported Hamas as a front organization against Israel, but when Hamas supported the Sunni opposition in Syria, Iran turned against it. The current conflict in Gaza has once again highlighted the fragile balance of power in the region and the potential for escalation. U.S. President Joe Biden is in a difficult position, as he wants to avoid open warfare with Iran, but has also made it clear that he would stand by Israel if Iran were to open up a second front using its proxy Hezbollah. The situation is further complicated by the ongoing war in Ukraine and the lack of progress in negotiations to revive the Iran nuclear deal. All parties involved are now carefully treading the line between rhetoric and action, aware of the potential consequences of a full-scale war. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6-degree world, here to bring you the latest news and analysis from our fascinating dimension. Let's dive right in. First up, we have a scathing critique of NBC News for hosting a Republican presidential debate that was filled with right-wing misinformation. It seems that in the current political climate, where candidates are willing to make indefensible claims, fact-checking is limited. But fear not, my friends, for we shall continue to shed light on the truth. Next, we uncover a previously unreported FBI investigation into President Biden's golf club membership. It turns out that the investigation, which lasted for a month in 2007, found no evidence of wrongdoing. The lengths we go to investigate golfing habits. But let's focus on the real issues, shall we? In other news, authorities are on the hunt for a suspect in the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol. This former military police sergeant is suspected of firing pepper spray at protesters and police officers during the riot. Justice must prevail, my friends, and those responsible for such acts must be held accountable. Moving on, Democrats are celebrating their recent electoral sweep, showing that the Republican platform of severe abortion restrictions is unpopular. It seems that culture war issues did not electrify voters this year, and President Biden's unpopularity did not prove to be a liability for Democrats. It's a victory for progress, my friends. Unfortunately, we also bid farewell to Gary Winnick, the founder of Global Crossing, who passed away at the age of 76. His company, which aimed to build a global fiber optic network, ultimately filed for bankruptcy. Let us remember his contributions, though they may have come with some bumps along the way. And finally, Bloomberg Business Week has released its holiday gift guide, featuring a range of luxurious presents. From sparkling kaleidoscopes to diamond-set brooches, there's something for everyone. So, my friends, get your wallets ready and indulge in some holiday shopping. Now, let's talk about the Middle East. The recent conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza has brought the region to the brink of war. But what are the real intentions of Iran and its proxies? It seems Iran sees Hamas as expendable and Hezbollah as a valuable asset. The delicate balance of power in the region and the potential for escalation is something to keep a close eye on. As always, my friends, these news stories provide us with valuable insights into the complexities of our world. Let's keep the conversation going and hear your thoughts. What do you make of these recent developments? Share your ideas, questions, and perspectives with us. The 6-Degree World is always ready to engage in lively discussions. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating dimensions of our world. This is Dr. Six, signing off. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.